All right, Shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations unto the brothers out there pushing the truth. Okay, today I have the brother Gabar here, Gabar Allah.
Shalom.
All right, and yeah, we're gonna bring out information on Israelites basically being in Europe and populating, because you have the Israelites, the foreigners coming, the confusion of faces, right, which is a big topic right now in Israel, right? So first, I just want to bring out one scripture here in Isaiah 27 and verse 6. It says, "He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud, and fill the face of the world with fruit," which is it's just a statement showing you that the Israelites are populated everywhere, the entire planet. And you'll find Israelites in the most oddest of places. All right, because Israelites traveled, they had trade, they had business, right? They had all these things, so they would either live in those lands or trade. And of course, what do Israelites do? It tells you that in Genesis 1, be fruitful and multiply. That was a commandment given to the Adamites. All right, so without further ado, brother, bring out your information.
Yeah, that's the thing. For some reason, I'm not getting the information. Yeah, I don't have. Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll just bring it out then, and then whatever you have, just because I sent it through the thing, and I don't know, you have to download it. I think I don't know if you downloaded it.
Yeah, it's not even showing up on my phone or computer.
Oh, it wasn't in the chat?
No.
Okay, that's all right. So I'll just bring it out, and then whatever you have, just extrapolate. So this is from a book called Nature Knows No Color Line, by J. Rogers, which is, I don't know, do you have this book?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to get it though, no?
Yeah, it was. A lot of them weren't in stock too. I had to wait a while.
Yeah. Did you get off Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah, so a lot of these books, man, that they have, it's really hard to get, or they're really pricey. Sometimes they don't have them, or they're really, really pricey. So I got this actually. This is an ebook I found online, so you can actually type this stuff in Google, and you'll find it sometimes. So this is from page 130. And see, like the brother from I don't know his name, but from the main camp in GMS New York, he did that video on Poland, right? The Israelites in Poland, and how all this stuff is spreading basically. Because that's crazy. You don't even hear about that. Like, I never heard about the Haitians being down in Poland. That's some crazy shit. And there's actually a UFC fighter. She's a champion. I looked at her. I'm like, you know what? She kind of reminds me, of the mixed ones down there. So hey, you never know. But this is from page 130. It says, the Eastern Jews. See, so this book it has a lot of bones, but it has meat as well. So it says the Eastern Jews who settled in Austria, Poland, and Russia were Negroid too. It says Count Adam Gorowski of Poland, who visited in the United States in 1857, said the Jews of his country strongly resembled American mulattoes. It says numbers of Jews, he said, have the greatest resemblance to the American mulattoes. It says sallow complexion, which is like a synonym for dark, I believe. Thick lips, crisp black hair. Of all the Jewish population scattered over the globe, 1/4 dwells in Poland. It says, I am therefore well acquainted with their features. On my arrival in this country, America, he says he took every light-colored mulatto for a Jew. And that's funny because that's interesting information. That you have Israelites that you never even knew about in these different lands.
Cool.
It says for years, 2 New York white dailies, the News and the Mirror, have been advertising kinky hair. It says straightened permanently in one treatment. And Jake did that a lot, man. The service is for whites only. The customers are probably Jews. A Negro hairdresser in Harlem once had many of them among her customers. It says down here, another source of considerable Negro strain in the white stock were the black pages who were common in the families of the nobility and the rich throughout Europe as far north as Russia. These blacks were so used for many centuries, and as late as the First World War, they usually married into white families and are undoubtedly some of the Schwartzmen and Moors and others in European coat of arms. Because that word Schwartz, you know that it means it's dark.
Dark.
Yeah, Schwartz, right?
Yeah, and even that German guy, no, not German guy. Well, he's Austrian.
Mhm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. He took on that name too.
Khan, that's right. That's right. Yep. It says the park at Saint Sanssouci, whatever, residents of the Prussian rulers had or has busts of some of these Negro favorites. In fact, Negro ancestry crops up in some of the unexpected places, as in the Swedish royal family, and Sweden's really far north. And all those Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons and all that, those are Israelites. It says Bernadotte, its founder, had a slight Negro strain inherited in southern France, and Gustavus IV had considerably, as I have shown in Volume 1 of Sex and Race, which is another book of J. Rogers. Portraits of Gustavus IV, especially one of him on horseback by La Frentzen the Younger, and now in the private collection of Baron Rammel, leave no doubt of this. In short, Germans, now this is getting into Germany now, which is very interesting because, I don't know, have you seen this documentary? It was called The Black Holocaust of Germany.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember that a while back.
Khan, yeah, that's a really old one. It's really rare too, man. I remember we got the copy of it, but you had a lot of Israelites living already there, from the royal times, not even World War I or World War II.
Yes.
You had Israelites already living there, and they were really putting camps first, right? So, yeah.
Curse.
It says, in short, Germans are not the pure whites many assert they are. Several German writers agree on that, among them Friedrich Hertz, Bernald Springer, and Rudolf Rocker. Beethoven, for instance, is named by all three as showing Negro blood. Springer names, among others, Dr. Ernest Schweninger, of Italian Negro ancestry, who was professor of dermatology at the University of Berlin and as private physician to the great German Chancellor Bismarck. It says Rocker includes Martin Luther and Goethe. I don't know how to say that. He says we need but think of Luther, Goethe, Beethoven, who lacked almost completely the external marks of the Nordic race, and whom even the most outstanding exponents of the race theory categorize as hybrids with Oriental Levantese and Negro Malayan strains in them. It says German women who, from what I've seen and read of them, are very fond of colored men. It says welcomed American Negro soldiers with open arms in 1945. It says Mrs. Alice B. Shaw, U.S. Army Club director who was stationed in Bremen and in Bavaria, said, I have been in Italy and France and have seen the success of the colored soldier with women, but never in my life have I seen women trail our boys as the Germans. It says the French and Italians showed a little reserve, but not the Germans. It says William Gardner Smith in his novel Last of the Conquerors has given an account of the German women and the Negro soldiers in the Second World War that is almost documentary. It says, just zoom in one second. Alright, it says Ole Stewart estimated that there were 3,000 children born in Germany to Negro fathers. That's a lot, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of Israelite kids, and that's just what they estimate, because they don't really want to tell you it's like 7,000 or 8,000 or some shit, like,
I got a quick precept. Okay? This is Genesis chapter 32, verse 12, And thou saidst, I will surely do thee good and make thy seed as the sand of the sea,
Mm-hmm.
which cannot be numbered for multitude. You know,
Con.
and that's going into what you said, like about how them being there's a lot,
Con.
because we like to have sex,
That's
right?
right.
That's a part of our thing, and we like to have children and
Con.
have kids. You know,
Yeah, that's right. That's the joy of life. And since
yes.
what chapter was that?
That was Genesis chapter 32.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
Genesis 24,
Okay.
verse 60. It
Okay.
says, "And they blessed Rebekah, and said unto her, Thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them." Right.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that that was Jacob. So
Okay.
it tells you thousands of millions. I don't even know how much that is. That's crazy. Because you hear like tens of millions or hundreds of millions. That's thousands of millions. That's crazy.
Okay.
All right. It says, let me see. He says, he gives the approximate number for who those born in such towns as Nuremberg, Gießen, Frankfurt, Mannheim, and Munich. He wrote, "I visited one orphan home where children are cared for until they're 5 years old." The fuck you do after that? It says, out of the 55 children there, 19 are colored. To their eternal credit, the German girls have loved and cared for their brown babies. It says, for the most part, in the face of the most brutal treatment, I have had girls tell me they've received nothing from the father for their child. All they want is the child and work enough to care for it. That's crazy.
Wow.
It says the Reich, he says, can no longer be looked upon as a white country. Throughout our lifetime and long after, there will be colored people in Germany. And if you can get that book actually, because I don't have all the pages, if you have it there,
Oh,
you can actually go through the coat of arms and you can show on the camera the German coat of arms, because this book, it doesn't just talk about it. It actually, because how this guy talks about it, J.A. Rogers, is like the Israelites just got there from the war, but really it goes deeper than that. They were actually the big time monarchies. They were the kings,
okay.
the princes, and the stewards, and they were the royalty. And in the book he actually shows you the coat of arms. So when you got it, just tell me. I'll keep reading.
Oh, okay. Let me just go. It's over in my pile over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Go
I,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
Um. All right. So it says the Reich. The Reich, which is like the order, right? The Reich, the Fourth Reich, whatever they call it. He says, can no longer be looked upon as a white country. Throughout our lifetime and long after, there will be colored people in Germany. The First World War, as was said, brought thousands of mulatto children, and these were Israelite children, because it just tells you there were 3,000 children fathered by black men. So that means those are Israelite children. All right, because all the Most High cares about is your pedigree, which you get from your father. He doesn't care about the oven, so to speak. He doesn't care about the earth. He cares about the seed. That's what he cares about. All right, because whenever you read the scriptures, whenever you read genealogy, the Most High always talks about this king or this prince, the son of, and then it tells you the father. Of the father's house. If you read in what is that? Numbers chapter 1, it talks about the pedigrees. Um, It says, I have seen a number of German mulattoes, offspring of Negro soldiers in both these wars. The Nazis once had an exhibit of pictures of them at Dusseldorf, right? So again, all right, and you can see the pictures right here, because it says offspring of Negro fathers and white mothers, upper right, of Moroccan father, World War One, right? World War One Afro-American photo. You see, these are real occurrences. These are real things that were happening, right? And guess what? And guess what? Remember, these children how did they grow up? Right? When they grew up in the German culture because the woman took them. They made them. Well, I don't know if they're Catholic or what denomination, but bring them to church or bring up their customs, Christmas and Easter and all these things in the German fashion. They spoke German. So guess what? In the next generation, that same Israelite, let's say if it's a man, he was born a man, a boy, right? He
Okay,
goes,
I got it.
Khan. If he goes and marries a white woman, I was just saying how Israelites through the generations, like if it's a boy that's born, right? He grows up without knowing his father because it tells you the woman just took the children, right?
Con.
And guess what?
Yeah,
He's born speaking German. He's born practicing Christmas and Easter, and grew up in the German culture. And then
yeah,
if he impregnates a pure German blonde white woman, then that child is going to come out even later, and then that's how you get lost in the sauce. But
exactly.
you have a lot of Israelites down there. All right, so yeah,
Con.
whenever you got to just bring it out.
Yeah, here it is.
Mhm,
Here's some of the pictures. It's
Con,
on page 88, 89. Shows you. I don't know if you can see it
Con,
clearly.
yeah, looks good.
It's good right
Yep,
here. And then there's lots more.
yep, yep, yep.
There's all these different type
Con.
of coat of arms here,
hmm
families.
And at the bottom, it tells you where they're from, right? It tells like Italian, French, or whatever countries.
Yeah, one says here, it says German families note the Negroes, right, wearing
hmm
crowns and the Archbishop's mitre,
hmm
right? And it says Anselm Ricklin
hmm
E. Meldug, right?
Con.
1723.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Con.
Uh,
Yeah, man. So, yeah, there's a lot of information in that book in itself, right? So, back to here. So, hey, yeah, if you find anything in that book, bring it out and just cut me off when I'm reading, right?
sure.
It says John Welch, who lived in Germany for over 30 years, tells 12 years under Hitler of the mulattoes and octoroons he knew in Germany, and of an African named Foley, who taught African languages at the University of Berlin. In fact, Hitler had some 30 Negroes teaching in the German colleges. He had hoped to conquer Africa and was preparing his young men to be able to speak the African tongues, but these were Israelites, they were not Hamites. It says in volume 1 of Sex and Race, I have also mentioned Negroes in Germany prior to Hitler. See, according to an estimated according to an estimate made by the German authorities, September 9th, 1949, there were 13,000 illegitimate children born to American fathers in the American zones, of which 8.5 of the shit, I think it cut off here. Damn. Yeah, I think it just cut off. So I'll just keep reading from the next page though.
Okay.
It says, oh shoot, oh that's the same page. Um, Damn. You got anything to bring out though?
Yeah, I got a little script right here. It says this is on page 87,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going into the Negroes and coat of arms of noble families,
Con.
right? Of Germany, right? And it says white people blacken their faces not only for the Morris dance, but because of attraction for a dark skin. MacRitchie says many British peoples of fair complexion were accustomed to blackening their faces artificially that they might the better pass blacken their faces artificially, Salakia, that they might the better pass for Moors.
Mm-hmm.
To understand this fully, one must divest himself of all notions of the American dogma of color superiority, right?
Con.
So like it shows you, they wanted to be like Jake basically, because it was glamorous during that time because we're the real royalty, so to
Con.
speak, you
Con.
know.
Yep, that's right. So I have the page on my phone, so I'm just gonna read it off here. It says
Okay.
of the 8.5, 50% were Negroes. It says the estimate does not include illegitimate births or births not reported to the authorities, which a lot were, of course. Um, on my visit to Germany in 1950, I saw much association of Negro soldiers and German women. Some of the girls were not only quite good looking, but had an air of culture. Some of the mothers were quite young. One I saw was only 14, which was a normal thing back then. That was a normal occurrence. All right, for women to get married and have children at 14, 15 years old. That was actually a normal thing because you can ask your grandparents and maybe your great grandparents, and they'll tell you. You know, that was actually a normal age to get married because that's when a woman is fully prime. You know, she's fully functioning. These women, they wear their bodies out in their now early teens. I was gonna say late teens, but now you got early teens, late teens, and then you're all your 20s. You're wasted because you're fucking drinking every weekend, if not every day. You're doing all kinds of drugs, and you're just fucking up your organs. And then by the time in your 30s or your mature 30s, you know, you stop being a whore, or and you stop fucking doing all this shit. Now you're ready. Some of you, because some of you go till 40 and 50, man. I know fuckers like that. But you know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Um, it says she had a mulatto child of which she was very proud. All right. So that was really it from the book. Whatever scriptures you got, or pages or anything, bring it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have um Daniel, what's it called? Daniel, actually, I got Matthew chapter 5, verse 13.
Come
It says, ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savor, wherewith shall it be salted?
Mm-hmm.
It is henceforth good for nothing but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And that's another thing. Just going into it a little bit more. That's why these heathen women, right? They want to cling on to Jake as well, because they know that we got that flavor, man. We make things happen, right? And we have that aura of the Heavenly Father and His Son, right? That lively spirit. So when they see that, it makes them want to actually be like that themselves, But I also had because you said Schwartz, right?
Yep.
I didn't show this earlier, just to give more proof. Here's the Schwartz family, right? Just like what it shows, and there's other families right there as well. If you could see it, I just pointed to it.
Yep.
Schwartz. He has a sword in his hand. So yeah, that was basically what I have so far. So.
I got a precept. You can break it down. This is Second Ezra's 2 and verse 4 or verse 5. It says, "As for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my commandments, that thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going into how when we went off to, and that also reminds me of the scripture Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 64, on how we scattered, because what we left the law, statutes, and commandments, and really to look like another nation, that's really a curse, right, from the Heavenly Father itself. But through that you still have a majority of Israelites within these countries, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you see certain, like a lot of their top athletes, or their entertainers, you gotta really be spiritual and look into it and really check that person out if you can, or the Spirit will reveal it and it'll show you that person's an Israelite. You have that a lot. For example, there's the apostles always talk about him. There's this Russian boxer. I think he's Russian or Ukrainian. I can't remember I think it's Klukich. Yeah, I think it's one of those names. And then he fought Mayweather. He was supposed to fight him. And they were going into how he was training. And you could see the type of energy he had. It was
talking about Lomachenko?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Ukrainian, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying his footwork is very, very good. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
His footwork is very. They're saying he's like the next Ali. That's what they're ascribing him as, because
There you go.
he won the Olympics twice, gold medal twice,
Con.
and that's like the 12th person to ever do that. So yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Khan, do you have anything more from that book?
I'm still looking for more because there's a lot
Khan,
more.
no, because that was really it. I wanted to kind of uh, uh, go into something else, but if you have anything, you can bring it out because I'm just looking up an article right now. So
Okay,
if you have
sure.
any scriptures or anything, we can actually, since you're talking on that, we can get Isaiah 11, right? Because that goes
Okay.
into it. Isaiah 11 about all the lands that Israelites are going to be gathered out of.
Okay. 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 Isaiah chapter 11. You want?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Give me 1 second here.
Khan.
Okay. You want me to start from the top?
Um, is there the point where it talks about where they're going to be gathered?
Okay. And it says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's Isaiah chapter 11, verse 1.
Mhm.
And it says, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh. Right? But you want the Israelite scriptures though out of that, right?
Yeah, 1 sec. I'm just looking at it. We can go to verse 11,
Okay.
or actually
So Isaiah,
verse 10, verse 10.
okay. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10, and it says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Right, who's that
To it
talking
shall,
about? Right,
yep.
that that's doing with Yahushua.
Um,
You know, because how is he a root of Jesse? Hmm?
well,
Yeah,
oh,
how's he a root of Jesse? I'm asking you, brother.
oh yeah, no, he came out of he came out through the genealogy of King David
Khan.
and through Adam as well.
Yeah,
That genealogy,
and
right?
that debunks how his mother was a virgin. You know,
Yeah.
because if he was to be a root, like again, it goes into pedigree from the father's seed. It's not from the mother, because the mother derived from that lineage as well, but it doesn't count through her. All
Mm-hmm.
right, it only
Yeah.
goes to the father. The Most High is concerned about the pedigree. You know, which you can read about in what is that, Numbers chapter 1,
Yes.
right?
Uh,
But Khan, keep reading on.
okay. And it says so like my computer's a bit slow.
That's all right.
Alright. And it says to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious.
Mhm.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush
Mhm.
and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the
Yep.
islands of the sea.
And that's all the lands that the Israelites will be found in. You know, not all, Salaki. There's many more, but these are some of the lands. You know, like for Elam, for example, you have a people called the Untouchables. You know, and it's not like in the sense of authority or glory. It's like, don't touch them. They're dirty. They're nasty, filthy people. If you touch them, you're gonna be cursed. You know, or if you touch them, you know, you're gonna get a disease or whatever. That's what they're looked at. They're looked at as the bottom of the pile. You know, and you have also the Punjabis and certain groups where you have Israelites scattered among them. Cush, Assyria, right? Go ahead.
Um, verse 12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gathered together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Yeah, because you have the outcasts of Israel as well. You have Israelites that were cursed, and they were living their lives generations as heathens, man. That was the curse of them. So it just like in Brazil, you have the Amazon Indians, man. They're living like heathens, man. you know,
Yep.
they're living like straight heathens. They have heathenistic cultures and practices, and that's why they're still getting jacked up. Even till 2017, till today, Esau's finally getting to the forest. He's getting inside the forest and chopping down all the trees, and he's finally getting to the tribes. They have been hidden there since 1492.
Wow.
No one has had contact with them because you can't. How are you gonna conquer the Amazon? It's the rainforest.
Yeah.
So they're actually getting their judgment right now. So you see, the Most High is not, he's not slack concerning his promise, man. That which a man soweth, he shall reap. So keep going on.
Okay. And it says, the envy also of Ephraim. No, Slack, I didn't finish. Assemble the outcasts of Israel.
Yeah, you finish it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So verse 13. The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
Yep, because it goes both ways, man. Like you have certain parts in America, like mainly like the West Coast, you hear about, right, about Mexican and black shootings, because they have beef. But again, it goes back to the curses. You had these two kingdoms which Esau knew about because, again, they studied the scriptures. They weren't the elite of Esau are not trailer park boys. The elite of Esau, they get the top scholars, the archaeologists, the historians, all these important people, that investigators. Like in remember that movie? Just a primal example, but Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a good movie because he had an investigator. He wasn't just a lawyer. Yes, I'm gonna do this. He had an investigator work for him, and he had all these connections, man. And he had all this, get advice. And the point is, he can send that investigator and find shit that a normal lawyer can't. So it's just a different kind of level, and that's why even in the movie, when the biker he's talking to the biker guy, and he's like, oh, it's 10 grand or whatever. He's like, oh, we already paid you. He's like, this is for some extra or whatever, right? Because he's basically covering for a guy who got caught growing weed on a farm. So he had a connection that told him the DEA can't fly low enough like that to take photos of your property. So he told him, look, you can go get a public attorney or whatever, but he's not gonna know about airspace and all that shit. Because it's true. It's just different levels, man. So Esau has these top scholars, and they find out information. That's why in all these kingdoms, Esau loves playing the tribes off each other. Esau loves playing he loves playing a tribe within a tribe anyway, because he'll create all these gangs. All these gangs are nothing but creations of Esau. They're all witchcraft. You're gonna tell me these gangs just start up of these, because you see them draw the so-called Star of David or whatever, the five-pointed star, the pitchfork, the devil horns, and all that. Where did they come up with that? These are all inventions of Esau, devices of Satan. And that's what's going on right now. It says Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. If you talk about like Sonata TV, they might seldom accept like a Puerto Rican or Dominican, but it doesn't go as far, really, And they'll still mock, and they'll still like hold back because it's not the same thing to them. And Ephraim will talk shit. The kingdom of Ephraim. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just had a quick some precepts. This is Acts chapter 2, verse 4. Right, and it says, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. And now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. Right? So like just to prove about how, you have Israelites everywhere as well, right? And these were devout men that believed, in the Lord, right? And they were speaking in different tongues of what nation that they were born in,
Con.
right?
That's right.
So oh sorry, Salakia?
No, that's right.
Yeah. That's basically it, You're gonna have many other different nations that are out there. They look a certain way and they speak a different tongue, so you have to be spiritual and you can't like discriminate just because they look a certain way, just like what you see what's happening now in Israel today.
Con.
These other like camps, they just say, "Oh, this guy looks like a white man. Oh, the Lord's not dealing with him. He doesn't have the spirit of an Israelite."
Con.
So they shut him away. You know?
Yeah, that video, Confusion of Faces, Daniel chapter 9 and 5. That dude, he looked like the guy from UFC, Roy Nelson, man. The big beard and shit, the black beard. But you just have to listen to him talk, man. Just kind of read the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But flip the coin. If it was a Jake talking or a guy that looked like an Israelite, which we know what we mean when we say that, okay, um, there'll be no questions for that. There'll be no questionability or accountability. Um, yeah, you still had Isaiah, or I think we're done in that.
It finished with Ephraim,
Okay,
right?
okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just kind of wanted to delve into a different topic now, since we're done on the book.
Okay.
Basically the economic crisis, man,
Yeah.
and how it's gonna tie into the chip, which we can just bring out articles that are popping up everywhere. Um, if you have any information or anything like that, we can just start bringing it out, scripture wise too. Um, I had an article here I want to
Okay.
bring out. It says, and this is from McLean's, which is really like they try to obviously sugarcoat things, but this place is doomed. This place is finished because the very foundation of your system or your monetary system is a dollar that is not backed by any substance. It's not backed by anything of value. That's why you call it legal tender, right? You call it legal tender, which legal just is just a fancy word for you to make it right or acceptable in your society through your power, through your sword, right? Because that's how you establish your law. That's how you establish your government, through the sword. It wasn't through paperwork. It wasn't through signatures and shit, right? Um,
Yeah.
it says the risk of a financial crisis in Canada is growing, and whatever you hear or anything like that or have, just bring it out or anything to add. It says Canada needs an independent body with the power to respond to financial threats, but politics keeps getting in the way. It says last fall, Bill Morneau did a rare thing in modern politics. Instead of running away from responsibility, he embraced it. Let me be clear, Morneau told the Toronto Board of Trade. At the end of the day, I am ultimately responsible for supporting financial security and the stability of the financial system. He said the remarks didn't receive much attention, but they should have. What Morneau did that day was confirm that he would be the decider of what will be done or not done to deflate Canada's various housing bubbles. Had
Mm.
he had taken some steps to curb demands during his first year in office, such as raising the minimum down payment for homes priced higher than $500,000, the public was supposed to be reassured that what happened in the U.S. a decade earlier wouldn't happen in Canada, which is going to happen anyway because, again, it's inflation. So you're just inflating. The bubble keeps inflating until it's going to burst. You're not going to release the air because the system is built upon debt and borrowing because you borrow money from the Federal Reserve at interest. And how are you going to pay it back? How do you pay someone back that prints the money? um, it says I will continue to act to ensure that household debts or debt levels are sustainable, that lenders are acting prudently, and that increases in interest rates or a housing market downturn don't put at risk the economic growth we are working so hard to accelerate. Um, Yeah, you had some?
Yeah, I had one quick scripture. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You know, and we're in that time now, especially. The grinding is low because one thing that you see happening in Ontario, really, or Canada in general, you have a lot of these job agencies or these employment agencies. And that's a sign that's just a small sign that you know that the grinding is low, really,
Mm-hmm.
because these corporations or these companies, you know, they're outsourcing, right? And they're getting away. And by the way, Canada, it used to be known for its manufacturing or manufacturing, right?
Go
And a lot of those jobs are going out the window, those blue collar jobs, right? So now you have people struggling just to get those things, and now they're just finding ways to cheat your wages, so to speak, through doing that. And then it says, all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, the music that's also going into, like, you know, entertainment and music in itself, because the music is terrible nowadays. They're not using real instruments. They just use auto tune. You know, they don't even it's basically falsified,
on.
right? False music.
Go on.
That's what I had on that too.
Yep.
Right?
And can you get Zephaniah 1 and 11?
Sure. Zephaniah 1. So it says, Zephaniah chapter 1 and 11. How ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off.
Yeah, man, that's the Wall Street guys, man. You know, that's the Wall Street people. Um, these financial people, these whatever they call themselves, but um, that the modern day money or currency is not even silver.
Yeah.
It's really funny to even talk about that. You know, but I had this article right here. This is from thebalance.com, and it's called "Could the Great Depression Happen Again?" It says May 1st, 2017. It says if the United States had an economic downturn on the scale of the Great Depression of 1929, your life would change dramatically. One out of every four people you know would lose their job. That's because the unemployment rate would quintuple from its current rate of 5 to 25%. It says economic output would plummet 25%. That means GDP would fall from its current 18 trillion to 13.5 trillion. It says instead of inflation at about 2%, deflation would cause prices to drop 10%. International trade would shrink 65%. It says, could it happen again? In a 2011 CNN poll, nearly 50% of Americans believed it could. They thought it would happen within a year. Unfortunately, they were wrong. But many people are still worried about a depression reoccurring. Others are convinced we are already in a depression, which is true. This is really the beginning of the end, because the way it's falling every day, it's just that's why the prices go up. It's not the prices going up; it's the value of the dollar that's going down. You know. Um, it says oil prices. Talks about that. Unemployment rate. I'm just trying to skim through it. Okay, so arguments for, which it which they say arguments that can cause the Great Depression, is stock market crashes can cause depressions by wiping out investors' life savings. It says, hey, and that's why the Mediumites would kill themselves, man. When that first Great Depression happened, they had their life savings. You know, they're staying in there, and in their old age, they're gonna reap it, and they lost everything. So they went on top of the building and they just jumped off. It says, which is gonna happen again. If people have borrowed, then Slack it. Then that's a real reason to shoot off fireworks, man. I was pissed off these couple of days, fucking people shooting off fireworks and shit. Then go buy the fireworks and shoot it off. All right. It says if people have borrowed money to invest, then they will be forced to sell all they have to pay back the loans. It says derivatives make any crash even worse through this leveraging. Crashes also make it difficult for companies to raise the needed funds to grow. Finally, a stock market crash can destroy the confidence required to get the economy going again. It says number 2 reason or argument is lower housing prices and resultant foreclosures totaled at least 1 trillion in losses to banks, hedge funds, and other owners of subprime mortgages on the secondary market. And how many foreclosures have you seen nowadays? You see a lot of signs foreclosed or bank owned or certain signs like that.
Mm-hmm.
You see that nowadays a lot on certain businesses and things like houses. Um, it says banks continue to hoard cash even though housing prices have increased. They are still digesting the losses from 1 million foreclosures. Number 3 is business credit is needed for businesses so they can continue to run on a daily basis. Without credit, small businesses can't grow, stifling the 65% of all new jobs that they provide. Number 4 is bank near failures frighten depositories into taking out their cash. Although the FDIC insures these deposits, some became concerned that this agency would also run out of money, which is 100% true. There was a video I saw a couple of years ago and it talked about that the banks that you go to, they don't even have, if everyone went to the bank that they go to and they all asked for the money at the same time, the bank wouldn't have that money. They don't have all the money that you have
Mm-hmm.
in your electronic bank, because that's all it is. It's just electronics now, basically. They're gonna phase out the dollar soon because they already phased out the penny. They're already phasing out um, cash purchasing or using, I guess, of TTC at the end of 2018 or 2017. At the end of this year, you cannot use cash to get on the TTC. Use the Go. They're basically doing every public transit system, the trains, the buses, all that shit, subways. Um, It says commercial banks depend on consumer deposits to fund their day-to-day business as well as make loans. See that? So they actually use your money to do other transactions,
Mm-hmm.
which shows you it's not your money. And it's not even money. It's not even real money. It says number 5, high oil prices, which we've been hearing about in the news a lot, right?
Yep.
Could return once U.S. shale producers are forced out of business. Millions of jobs were lost when oil prices plummeted. At the same time, many consumers many consumers bought new cars and SUVs when gas prices were very low. They will be pinched when prices rise again. It says deflation is number 6, is an even bigger threat. One reason the Federal Reserve, doesn't want to raise rates is because inflation has yet to reach its goal of 2% annual price increase. But low oil and gas prices have had a deflationary impact, so has a 25% increase in the US dollar. That depresses import prices. These deflationary pressures seem like a boon to consumers, but they make it difficult for businesses to raise wages. The result could be a downward spiral. That that's similar to what happened in the Great Depression, and these are reasons that they gave it. Um, and again, I remember there was actually a term. If you took history class, Gabar, you know about the Roaring Twenties, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Roaring
The,
Twenties. I remember like in grade 10 they showed you that, but maybe even earlier. But it was a time basically in I think it started in 1919, 1920, where it was very booming. Society was, hey man, that was heaven on earth for Esau. Straight up, that's what it was. Those 10 years or so, that was heaven on earth for an Edomite in America, really
yep.
anywhere, because Esau was already feared upon the planet. He already dominated, right? So, but what it was a trick for these sheep, because the government, what they did, or the elites, uh, that's when credit came, or what do you call it, installment plans, right? Where you had all this mass production. You had cars, you had washing machines, laundry, all these new inventions, the TV, the radio, all these new things started coming out, and people were like, wow, and they started consuming. But what they did, they started getting loans as well. They started getting credit, and that's how everything blew up. And then in 1929, one day the stock market just fucking flipped out, and it was all staged. It was all pre-planned by the elites, of course, for the Federal Reserve. And after that, what was it, 1933? They took the dollar off the gold standard, right? They took the dollar off the gold standard, and the dollar wasn't backed by anything. It was basically indebted, because your dollar. We can even look it up. If you go on Google, you can look up redeemable. The old dollars, they used to say redeemable, right? So when you go for if you type it in Google, I just typed it in. It says in gold coin payable to the bearer on demand, and this is the old American dollar that was redeemable. You can go and get your gold's worth with the money that you had, because it was backed up by gold. So in 1933, that's when they said, "Oh, yeah, everyone has to turn in their gold. If you have any gold, you have to give it to the Federal Reserve Bank, right?" And you, dumbass people, you traded that in for your paper dollars. They gave you your paper dollars, but once you lost your gold, that's the thing of substance. So you people gave in your substance for this fucking what's that word that it really is? This whole system is it's like based on nothing. There's like a certain word. There's like a term. I forget the word.
Oh, credit base.
Yeah, the credit base, but there's a different word though. There's like a technical word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. Fiat
Oh,
currency.
fiat, yeah, fiat
Yeah,
currency.
fiat.
Okay.
Which fiat? That means like empty basically, right? Or like not real, something like
Yeah.
that, right? So
I got
fiat.
a
Yeah,
I
sorry.
got a
Go.
quick definition
Con.
though.
Go ahead.
This is the word credit from online etymology.
Mhm.
It says belief, trust, a loan thing entrusted to another, to trust, entrust, believe,
Mhm.
acknowledgement of merit.
Con.
Right.
Con.
That's basically it. They're just trusting in a society that's really meant to fall.
That's right.
Right. You
Yeah,
know.
that's right. That's beautiful. Yep. See, so
Mhm.
that's what that credit, and because nowadays people, that's what they live off is credit, right? It's not really your money. You're just crediting your oh, don't pay, don't pay till 2020. That's what they're doing in the Great Depression. Don't pay till 2021, you know, or 5 installments of blah blah blah, whatever. That's what they're doing, and then people thought it was gonna be like that forever. What you people, that's what you really think it's gonna be like this forever, man. It's not gonna be like this forever, you know. Um, if you have anything, bring it out. That's really it that I had.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I just had James chapter 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start from the first
Mm.
verse, and it says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten." Right?
Con.
"Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
Con.
Ye have heaped up treasures together for the last days."
Yep. Yeah, and this is referring to the elite bankers, man. The top of the food chain, the Rothschilds, the Gettys, the Rockefellers. Um, their whole plan is just to crash the system and bring in their currency, which is basically the chip, which is the mark of the beast. Through that, you're gonna be able to do everything, trade and buy, sell, and if you don't have it, you're not gonna be able to do it. You're gonna have to barter basically physical things, but it's gonna be harder and harder, man. That's gonna be the hour of temptation. That's why it's called the hour of temptation. So the hour of a trial, or a trial, or a test to see. And hour means a certain amount of time. Doesn't mean 1 hour, but um, again, it's a certain amount of time for a trial. All right, that was it. Doc?
Yeah, that was it on that.
Okay. Do you have any articles or anything?
No,
Okay.
but I have one more
Yeah, yeah,
scripture
go
though.
ahead.
This is Job chapter 20, verse 19. Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, and the poor is really the nation of Israel,
Con.
right? We don't own anything in this society,
Right.
you know. And it says, because he hath violently taken away an house which he buildeth not, right? Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him.
Yeah. See, so
Right?
when he finally thinks his plan is gonna work out, that's when he's gonna be in straits, be in hardships. That's when all these calamities are gonna come upon him. These nations, man, because these nations are gonna be roused up. The Russians, the Chinese, the Koreans. You're already seeing them being roused up slowly, right?
Mm-hmm. Con.
Hmm.
And it says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Hmm.
He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
That's the missiles. That's the missiles right there.
Sure.
Yep.
It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall.
Hmm.
Terrors are upon him.
Hmm.
Yep. And that was basically the point on him,
Con.
him being really destroyed.
Con.
But there's a little bit more,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't mind if I
Con.
continue on.
No problem.
And it says, uh, it is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. And a part of him being secret and keeping a lot of things secret is him allowing you to believe in this false society, man.
Hmm.
And a lot of you people are waking up to the fact. A lot of our people, you 2/3 who trust in the shadow of Egypt, you're going to be destroyed in that day, man. For believing in this credit-based society, because you put all your stock and your effort into building a place in your captivity, man.
Yeah, and
A
they tr- and they and they trust in man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
yeah,
Con. So that credit, that belief, that trust, they really place that trust in man, in a man's system, in a man's tradition of men, as the scriptures say, right?
yes.
Con.
And it says, a fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And a lot of these heathen nations, you ripped off through your fiat currency as well. And that's the first reason, one of the main reasons why they're gonna rise up against you, because you bankrupt them, you overthrown their leaders that they wanted to put up,
That's right.
and you got them to sell out to you. So they're gonna rise up against you and destroy you for that, man.
That's right.
And it says verse 28, the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. And everything that you stolen is going to be taken away from you. Everything that you worked so hard, because it took, centuries for this new world order to be built up, through tricking people, lying, how much murdering you did, how much fraud, and in a snap of a second, the Lord is going to take it away just like that. And it's going to flow away just like water down the drain, man. Right? In the day of his wrath, this is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. And that's basically what you reap is what you sow, Esau.
That's right.
That's what you get.
That's
That's
right.
it.
Yep. All right. So with that, we'd like to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations unto you brothers out there. May Yahweh Shem Yahshai strengthen you, and we say Kwam Yashuallah.
Kwam Yashala.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.